Hello, good evening. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Rao coming on to open my room. Uh, Calm your mind. This is the 29th day. I hope we are all doing well. And today we're going to continue our quest to calming the mind. I'm sure I'm keeping it deliberately simple and practical. Somebody can do that every day. I'm sure a lot of people have much sophisticated, much better systems too. But my way of really aligning our breathing and our mind and really starting the day not in thought but in awareness and then use the thought. So that's the trick, understanding which is what, where which is first and all that. So we don't cultivate being in awareness, we cultivate in being in thought. And with all the information overload and multiple stimuli, we are pulled into the neurotic thought, continuous in its quest, right? So, really, from that, or protecting our mind from that is the goal here. Okay. There are so many other things after calming the mind, stillness of mind, and going into complete samadhi, and all those things are advanced features are there. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something very practical for regular people that are inundated with all this unnecessary information and really not cannot get away from it, but then cultivate a tool from within themselves so that they can face these, multiple stimuli, overload of information, overwhelm, and brain fog, headaches, and all that. Okay, so we are working with artificial intelligence. That's not the problem because probably that will take some of our information overload because it can process the data up until 2021 in a fraction of a second and give us well tabulated information that we can use it and we can edit it, we can examine it. And I think it does a better job of assimilation of the information and writing it down beautifully. That's my experience. So I use this for mundane and routine tasks, and I'm spending much more time for my other stuff, right? So I love it that way, yeah. But what I'm talking about is keeping our mind only in information 24 hours a day, which is not good for us. You see, we are seeing the effects of losing the attention and really getting deficit in our attention span. That is really a problem with a lot of kids, a lot of adults too. They are not able to concentrate, they are not able to really focus on one task, and all those things are happening. And then I'm not saying everybody has their own way of handling these things, but we see the as physicians, as mental health workers and all that, we do see people are more depressed, people are more agitated, anxious, and people are having this insomnia, headaches, and lack of energy, and not able to enjoy their work because they are not able to focus and do flawless work. Sometimes they get punished in the job because they are not having the attention that is needed. And also people are using other substances to focus, to make their minds calm down and all that, which is not good in the long run anyway. So mine is non-invasive, no medication involved, but something physiological that we have, that is the breathing, just getting it to help us, or to deep breathe and calm the mind. So that's what I was talking about. I see my friend Nazli is here. Nazli, if you want to come up, you can, and then we can talk about any questions you have. Otherwise, I'll continue my rambling. So actually, throughout the day, I'm kind of silent, so I can talk now. I was working, But at the same time, I don't have anybody to talk. So 3 4 hours all afternoon, I was on the my course creation. I created a course called Servant Leadership. It had been my thing for a long time, but then now I'm developing these courses with artificial intelligence assistance. I write it, then I kind of make videos with Mid Journey on all those things, right? And then I edit them with Wise Cut or something like that, and I kind of have a beautiful course with a lot of images and lot of videos and lot of material and also quizzes. So I love that, the whole process coming to it. But basically, what it is in servant leadership, you serve people rather than your interests. So it's like a karma yoga thing. What I learned in the ancient wisdom, I bring into our modern life so that we can work and enjoy our work and then have joyful uh, moments in our life, right? So that's what I was aiming for. I do experience that kind of focus, concentration, and joy when I'm working. So I wish I can give it to everybody that, but then they have to work at it. But I can give the means and steps towards it, but they have to work at it, and then they will experience themselves. It's not like a theory you understand. It is something you want to experience, right? So first thing is always calming the mind, calming unnecessary thoughts, focusing ourselves towards something that we like or we love, or really not wasting a lot of energy in unnecessary thoughts. Okay. All in all, I usually have a very quiet day that doesn't absorb a lot of my energy. And when I work, also, I'm in the focus and probably in the flow. That's why I don't feel like I have worked that much. But when I come out these rooms, I do talk. You can talk. There is a place when you want to express yourself, when you want to communicate with your friends and colleagues and followers. That's what I'm doing here now. So my aim was do for a stretch of days, bringing this importance of having some mechanism where we take some time and really calm your mind. Actually, doing the meditation in sporadic is really not the thing of my cup of tea. What it is being in control of the thought, being in that calmness and stillness of thought, and then staying there all the time. And when you do want to use your thought, then you can use that instrument of thought. So it's more like you own the thought, you own the body, and then you don't let them go whichever they want. Okay. So hi, you do.
Hey there, Dr. L.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm gonna pray right now. I'm gonna read
Okay. Yeah, your phone is also some disturbance audio. That's fine. Leslie is also here. She is listening too. That's good enough for me. So I'm just reiterating why I'm doing this room, what I'm talking about, that kind of thing. If people can really do this and then tell me what they are experiencing, I'd be much more joyful to hear their version or what was going on with the experimentation. If at all they have taken experimentation, don't listen, just try it, experiment it, and then come and tell me how it went, and then what is the benefit or not, and that kind of thing. Then we can have some real life experience, right? That can be shared and that can be talked about and have a discourse about it, not an argument, but just a discourse about it. See, I'm always fascinated with this ancient practice, what's called satsang. That means people gather together, good people gather together and take a subject and then go and exploring truth about the subject. It's not about their opinion or knowledge, whatever, no, but then just to pose question to each other and let the mind stimulate. It's like a Socratic thinking where you start with saying, I don't know anything, and then you pose a question from your mind, and then let mind take you to the depths, which is a very, very good practice to develop new brain, cognitive brain, cortex, and all that. That's a neuroplasticity, right? But in ancient times, they didn't know all of that. What they knew was we don't want to come from some conclusions of the past or the burdens of the past of so many people, or we don't want to go into the imaginary future. But here and now, what can I see? What can I hear? What can I get from the depths of my own inner being, right? That kind of thing was very good. I kind of practiced that not voluntarily, but I was led into that in Chicago, where I was living there. So there was this suburb called Woke Park, and they had this library there. So one of my friends, David, he took the initiative to really ask the librarians to give him that basement that he had, and then he was presenting some videos and some philosophers, major thinkers, and all that. There, people gathered together. We didn't know each other. We didn't know what they did, but then we met every couple of weeks for about a year or year and a half. And then throughout that, the rules are just come and discuss, and then no argumentation, nothing, but just to explore the topics, and then we don't have to introduce to each other or know or bring in this transactional attitude, but more like a inquiry attitude. Like, so I didn't really know who those people were, what they did for living or anything like that. Fortunately, they also didn't know what I did. The moment they mentioned a doctor, a lot of things come up. So that's a burden for me. So I'm happy to say just I'm Rao instead of saying Dr. Rao or anything like that. Even here, I didn't want to put doctor in front of my name. But my friends in that doctors committee, they said, no, 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 you have to put this. How do I know all of that? So they actually forced me to do it because they were doing this profile reviews, and then they reviewed my profile and they said, you should be having this. That's when I changed that. So that was a good experience for us to really go there and really explore anybody's mind with your mind, and then whatever they pose that you kind of ignore. There was a value for that because in ancient times, they had profound findings just by calming the superficial mind and going deeper. And they had a specific terms for that, but then they said, you guys just have to be still and then watch what you are inside, and from there go it. Okay. Here I am talking about our modern phenomenon of information overload, and so many things are presented to us. Now I'm going to some of these artificial intelligence rooms. One is my friend Rahul. He's only 13-year-old, but he kind of goes through all the artificial intelligence field for 2 weeks, and then comes, and I think Friday or Saturday, he comes, I think. He comes and then he reviews all sorts of programs, which are very interesting to see. But then after a while, I said, what I'm going to do with all these programs? So many programs. I just listen to them, but I don't really put them to work. So I kind of look at the budget also. I'm buying a lot of these programs because everybody's saying this is excellent and all that. Then I'm not even using them. So I kind of cut down all of them and really went to what are the functions I'm doing, how this can enhance that. Chat GPT, yeah, definitely enhances our cognitive activity, which is good. But I want the cognitive activity beyond that to be silent. That's my point, right? And then I kind of put some video making, video editing, and whatever that is suitable for the courses, whatever that's suitable for my patients that I could use. So those kind of thing I want to do. And I also want to be a chief wellness officer to other big companies. So I was sending some information about that. So those kind of, so I divided my activities, and according to the activities, I kind of pared down the programs, and then left with 4 or 6 programs, I think. And then rest of them I'm not going to even explore, even if they are very, very good. Because the way they are producing these apps or programs or software is a terrific pace, and we are spending money and doing them, and some of the programs we are not even able to use them because there's no proper documentation, proper help, and all that, right? So we're just paying the money and we are not using it. It makes sense to me, you know. So it's going to be more and more apps are coming our way, more and more information coming our way. So if you can protect yourself from the overload of information and also develop your own inner resilience of the mind where you can calm down and really rest it up and then go to the work. Otherwise, it's like a neurotic activity all the time in the thought morning till next morning, probably, you know, and that's not healthy. That's all I'm saying, you know. That's why my way of calming down is get up in the morning. First thing, don't go to the devices, but do this exercise of going to one place at the same time and sitting in the chair and taking deep breaths, and then let your mind calm down. Be in awareness, not in the thought. And then, after you have allowed yourself to be in the presence, in the moment, then open your devices and deal with whatever you have to do. But all the time, trying to be doing things in the present moment. You know, once you cultivate that, I think you won't be tired out by the incessant activity or global gossip or whatever that goes on. Importance of like a planet is important for me, wellness is important for me, and the people around me are important to me, and the gardens and everything, right? So I only focus on those things, and then when I go, also if I have something of value to offer, I will talk. Otherwise, I'll keep quiet and listen to them. You know, all these measures really help you not to get into the ever deepening information overload. Okay, so much is hurled at us. But then, if you look at the suffering, if you look at the planet situation, if you look at medical treatments and all that, really they are not helping the human well-being or lack of suffering or anything like that. So I focus on the bigger topics of suffering and planet situation, wellness, and all that, right? So once you are really doing what you is meaningful to you, I don't think you need a lot of this information. You need appropriate information, and then rest of the mind. I think that's very healthy. Otherwise, we are going to be drowned in all sorts of things without really having anything meaningful about it. So, like this course I told you this afternoon, I made a servant leadership course. That is done just to say, hey, service is important. So it's basically serving whatever your company you're doing, but not your self-interest, that kind of thing. And then there was a lot of things came out, research, and then I had to put them in. But then at the end, I was putting my own about what was ancients like in leadership. How did they cultivate this spirit of doing everything for everybody almost free, voluntarily? These people were very well respected. I'm talking about ancient India, when they had these advisors, they called them actually. But he is also considered as the revered guru or revered teacher and all that. He was also a physician, by the way, so he knew medicine, and he gave all the treatments, everything, whatever suggestions he has, completely free. Whatever he did was free. And I mean, those are ascetic people. They kind of gave away everything. And but then the mission was, how can I help other people? That's the only thing. So they dedicated their life for that, and they didn't want anything. And then for food and other things, they were provided by the kings that were ruling at the time. So they didn't have to work for a living, but they also had this desirelessness. They don't have any desires for themselves. All they wanted was they wanted to serve the creation, which they said the creation is by the god. So you are serving the god when you do the survey. It could be people, it could be animals, it could be plants, that kind of it. So some of those insights that I learned about them, how to be really accepting everybody by really realizing that we are all in one energy. That's another thing too. So they treated everybody like their family, and then because they were so fulfilled inside, they didn't have to go for anything for fulfillment, okay, accumulation of money or accumulation of things or degrees or anything like that. Okay, so those kind of principles I put in there at the end. That are my own observations, my own lessons that I learned from the ancient wisdom, and I continue to learn now. I don't say I have finished it. I'm still a student of ancient wisdom. There are so many insights that are very helpful for me in my way, how I am inside. Do I have separation from anybody? Do I feel like oneness with everything, or do I accept everybody? I test that every time I see a patient or deal with an insurance person or whatever, right? So that is the chapter of my own I put in there at the end of that servant leadership course. So some people come to me to burnout and stress. Two categories I saw. One is physicians, obviously my own colleagues, and like that, friends and all that. Right? But the problem is a lot of the burnout doctors, they don't want to be revealed because they have problems with their credentialing, with their administrations and all that. That's like a really bad, because they are having stressful situation, they're getting help, but then once they know, I think they take it out on them because they were kind of, what they say, impaired physicians. That was going on for some time. It's not new for me. It was going on for several years now. 2008, I think it started. And then executives of several companies. I have done what's called stress management for excessive tension or executive tension, either way, SMET as the name. In that, I kind of went into enhancing the human being from body, mind, and spirit, and all that. So it became more known to my immediate colleagues and hospital workers and all that. So we used to do them with the help of our library chairman, and we became friends. So she knew me what I was talking about. So she wanted me to do a big SMET classes, and then we kind of four of them, I think, we did successfully. At the same time, we were implementing EMR, so the stress level was very high. So a lot of people wanted to use it, and they came, and we were able to present it for a really full capacity of the big library hall. And I was taken back when I saw the crowd. I thought maybe by itself, maybe will be there, like 200, 300 people were there each time. But that kind of got legs from there. And then afterwards, I was doing it more on the community level and more in the schools and also online. People from India, several universities called me, and I was to go there and give them lectures on different aspects of health. Immunity was the primary that everybody wanted. Inner resilience. There was so many number of things like that. But anyway, I was also talking on wisdom and clubhouse. Wherever the topic interests me, I go there and then I listen and I also contribute. A lot of planet issues. A lot of people are doing very, very good work in a lot of rooms in clubhouse. So I go there and I listen to them because they are actually doing that. So I follow what is going on with the world's organizations, but then some of the work people are doing is local in their own communities and in their own niches and all. One gentleman I know, his name is Prasad Jaladi. He introduced me to several of those rooms, and he used to invite me. I used to go there. So that's how all these things are getting distributed in the way. Not with the intention of dominating or telling anybody to do what, but just sharing some of the concerns that we have, and also how we can use some of the wisdom from the ancients for our own benefit in this modern life. Okay. One of them is this. I'm seeing a lot of information overload people, both physicians and also the patients. And also, I'm concerned about it in general because I'm seeing the number of suicides, number of depression cases, anxiety people, and people generally not being well and then getting used to alcohol and smoking and other bad habits, drugs and all that, and not able to sleep well, not able to perform well. All those things are there. And also not able to be joyful. So that's my new motto: live well, live long, and live in joy. Live long can be done by the modern medicine, no doubt about it. But live well and live with joy, that's where I rely on the ancient insights to bring into our life. Okay. One of them is this going into stillness, going into meditativeness, going into joyful quietness in any situation. All those things are possible, and they have explored that for thousands of years, and it was there. I think some of it modern medicine wants to have proof, wants to have some kind of protection, which I understand, which I support too. Otherwise, everybody comes and sells us snake oil, and they say this is good, and then we don't know which is one. That is the mystery that was there. But if you go and find out for yourself without really being influenced by any religious inclinations or national inclinations, and then look at the fact for the fact and explore them as truth, then there's a real, genuine, truth-seeking activities by ancients that resulted in, for them, massive, massive insights into universal truths. So if you are interested in that kind of existential issues, and you are interested in true science of the inner being and that ancient wisdom, you got to go study and experience yourself. Don't believe me, just go and investigate yourself. Then it will be. I don't even want anybody have to believe or give approval for me. I don't need any of that. I just investigate myself, and then if it is good enough, I will do that. This was inculcated by, when I first came from India to United States, I was lost. The cultural shock and the stress and the lack of heart here in the routines and everywhere, it was really a real culture shock, no doubt about it. But then I was fortunate enough to get in touch with some of the thinkers who are pretty deep. They pointed out, do you have to constantly chatter in your mind, or do you not to give it a rest and then see what happens? So whenever we are doing something very complicated problem, for example, and then we leave it and go around, walk a little bit, come back, and we'll have sudden insight into the solution of that problem, right? That's an experience for everybody. Where does it come from, what it is? Then that led to investigation of mind as per moderns and individual mind as per ancients. That was very revealing, very educational for me as a physician. Then I was able to relate to my patients much better. And I was able to see where they are and what they're going without really judging them, without really telling them what it is. I was able to fix their problems much, much more efficiently. And I was not spent because of that. That was the best part about it. Then people saw me doing with more energy, more focus. Then they came to me asking about suggestions about. I was administration too, so I know what was going on with the hospital administration, the health policy principles and all. So I do advise my own friends about how to deal with the administration, how to deal with the contracts and all that. That was a major stress for them. And then they attended my stress classes, and some people took it. But basically, everybody is interested casually, but then they don't pursue it for long term. They have to do them on their own for long term, and also understand whether they are conditioned or not. And if they are conditioned, are there ways that you could decondition yourself, uncondition yourself? All that has to be done by each individual on their own way. I don't, this group thing will work. It will work for the physical. But then if you want to go inner self, you got to investigate why yourself. So that's my take, and that's why I'm doing this room where people can calm their mind with a simple exercise, being in the present, taking deep breaths, and then really focusing on the present moment, and then continuing that through the day. And at the end of the day, also, if they can do and sleep on that rather than so many thoughts, so many angers, so many hatred, so many negatives, I think that's not helpful. So that's what I wanted to say for today. Anybody has questions or you want to come up and chat with me, then I'll stay here for a while. Otherwise, we can as well. Uh, I can go on rambling like this, but that's not my aim. My aim is to see somebody is taking this and then have some experience with it, and then come back and ask me questions. Then that will be continuity of thought and discussions, right? So. There are people, 20 people in the Wisdom app. Anybody wants to come up, you're more than welcome to come up. Okay. They're all happy listening there. That's good. Okay. Okay. Nazli is there. Joyce is there in the clubhouse. Other places I don't put two-way street, so they don't come up on there anyway. So, alrighty. So that's what I wanted to say for today. So half an hour almost. So I'll take leave and then I'll come back tomorrow again and again talk about things. Some of the periods, maybe I should ping them in. I was not doing that, so I should be doing that tomorrow. Okay, Nazli, Joyce, thanks for joining me. All the folks on the Wisdom app, thank you all, and I'll see you tomorrow again. Thank you. Bye bye.
So anyway.